Pleasant morning, virtual learners of Valenzuela City. I am your teacher for today, Sir Alvin Cantre, who will make your Cookie Written class fun, exciting, and appetizing. Make sure to have your self-learning modules with you so that you will be guided and will be able to apply the learnings that you can get as you answer the module and perform the tasks required in the course. To start our lesson, allow me first to give you an idea of the competency expected of you to develop, and at the end of the lesson, which is to prepare vegetable dishes. Furthermore, the learning outcome of today's lesson are as follows. 2.1. Identify the market forms of vegetables. 2.2. Select various kinds of vegetables according to given menu. And 2.3, cook variety of vegetable dishes following appropriate cooking methods to preserve optimum quality and nutrition. We are also expected to achieve the following learning objectives. Letter A, identify the market forms and the factors of selecting vegetables. Letter B, prepare and cook vegetable dishes in different ways. And letter C, develop traits such as ingenuity in preparing and selecting appropriate cooking methods intended for vegetables. Now, before we dive deeper with our lesson, let's have first a recap of what transpired in the past. And to do that, I prepared a game entitled Fact or Bluff. Now, the mechanics of the game is this. Read and analyze the sentence and determine if it is correct or incorrect. Write fact if it is incorrect and bluff if it is not. You have 5 seconds to answer, and you can write your answer in the comment box below. Now, if everybody is ready, then let's begin. Number 1. Soaking is the process of warming food that has been frozen. Is it a fact or a bluff? Your 5 seconds starts now. If you answered bluff, then you are correct, because stowing is the process of warming food that has been frozen. Now, let's move to number 2. Vegetables are plants in which each part are utilized as food. Is it a fact or a bluff? Again, your 5 seconds starts now. If you answered fact, then you are correct. Vegetables are plants in which each part is utilized as food. It can be its fruit, its flower, its stem, leaves, and its underground parts or roots. Now this time, we will move to number 3. Washing is the method of cleaning, usually with water, to remove any unwanted residues from the surface of the food. Is it a fact or a bluff? Your 5 seconds starts now. Now, if you answered fact, then be glad because you got it right. Washing is the method of cleaning, usually with water, to remove any unwanted residues from the surface of the food. Now, let's proceed to the 4th number. Asparagus is botanically classified as fungi and considered as vegetable for nutrition. Is it a fact or a bluff? Your 5 seconds starts now. Now, if you answered bluff, then you are correct. Mushrooms are botanically classified as fungi and considered as vegetable for nutrition. They are a good source of niacin, pantothenic acid, and selenium. Now this time, we will proceed to the last number. Drying is the process of allowing the vegetable to become thoroughly wet by immersing it in water or in other liquid for an extended period of time. Is it a fact or a bluff? Again, your 5 seconds starts now. Now, if you answered bluff, then you are correct. Soaking is the process of allowing the vegetable to become thoroughly wet by immersing it in water or in other liquid for an extended period of time. Now, all of this were the terms that was discussed by your LST teacher last time or your live streaming teacher last time. Now, at this juncture, we will proceed to the next game, which is entitled Solve Me. Now, the mechanics of the game is this. Arrange the jumbled words in each item. A hint will be given to help you solve the word puzzle. Write your answer in your comment box below. Now, let's begin with number 1. The scrambled words are the following. And the clues are in the picture. What do you think is the right answer for this one? If your intelligent guess is fresh vegetables, then you are correct. Let's go now to number 2. The scrambled words are the following. The word clues are boiling, steaming, sautéing, pan-frying, braising, and baking. What do you think is the right answer for this one? If you answered ways of cooking, then you got the right answer. Now, let's proceed to number 3. The scrambled words are this. And the clue is in the picture. What do you think is the right answer for this one? If you answered sautéing, then you got the right answer. Now, let's go to number 4. The scrambled words are or is this. And the clues are in the picture. What do you think is the right answer for this one? If you answered steaming, then you got the right answer. You give yourself a round of applause. Now, let's proceed now to number 5. The scrambled words are the following, and the clues are in the picture. What do you think is the right answer for this one? Now, if your intelligent guess is nutritional value, then give yourself a big round of applause because you are correct. All of these terminologies have something to do with the lesson that we are going to discuss today, which are the market forms of vegetables, factors in the selection of vegetables used for culinary arts, and the ways of cooking vegetables. Let's begin talking about the market forms of vegetables. If one is looking for good nutrition, affordable budget, and best quality of vegetable, then it's best to know the market forms of vegetables, such as the fresh, frozen, dried, and canned vegetables. Now, let's start talking about fresh vegetable. Fresh veggies are an important part of our diet. Why? Because they contain vitamins, minerals, fibers, and nutrients essential for good health. As fresh vegetables include all produce that are newly harvested and they have not been processed. Next in the list are the dried and dehydrated vegetables. Now, dry and dehydrated vegetables are vegetables that have been dehydrated using different methods such as freezing, drying, drum drying, and air drying. And of course, we will not forget the last, which is the sun drying. The purpose is to prolong their shelf life and to concentrate their flavor. Now what are the advantages of using these dried veggies? Okay, number one, no preservatives and chemical. Then number two, dried vegetables are high in fiber and carbohydrates and low in fat, making them a healthy choice. Then the third one is they are easy to store and preserve. And of course, it saves our money because it is cheaper in comparison to its competitor. Now, let's move to the third, which is the frozen vegetable. Frozen vegetables are vegetables that had their temperature reduced and maintained below their freezing point for storage and transportation purposes. As a method of long-term preservation of fruits and vegetables, freezing is generally a superior to canning and dehydration. Now, what are the advantages of frozen vegetables? One, frozen vegetables use fewer nutrients. Two, they are more widely available. And of course, we can save on waste. Then lastly are the canned vegetables. Canned vegetables are vegetables that have been canned after picking to ensure best flavor and nutrient quality. Now, here are the advantages of canned vegetable. Number one, price of canned veggies are cheap. Number two, consuming canned goods offer convenience to busy people with busy lifestyle. And the third, it has longer shelf life. Canned vegetables have longer shelf life than fresh veggies. It ranges from 2 to 5 years from its manufacturing date. And lastly, canned vegetables are not bad in terms of nutrition. Again, fresh, dried, frozen, and canned are the different market forms of vegetables. This time, let's move to the next content of the lesson, which are the factors in the selection of vegetable used for culinary arts. Now, here are the seven factors to bear in mind in the selection of vegetable for culinary arts. Okay, what are they? They are season, ways of cooking, storage, budget, color, firmness, and nutritional value. Now let's begin with season. Some vegetables are seasonal. Therefore, one must remember to choose vegetables that are in season to make sure that they are fresh and at their best. Now, what are the advantages of seasonal produce? 1. Seasonal veggies are cheaper. 2. Seasonal produce is generally harvested at its peak, so it retains its full nutrients and vitamin content. And number 3, it tastes better. Eating seasonal produce will be at its peak for both flavor and health benefits. Now, examples of vegetables that are produced year-round are bok choy, bell pepper, and the like. During summer season are sayote, asparagus, fennel, mustard green, and corn. Now, the veggies available during Christmas season are broccoli, Brussels sprout, garlic, ginger, pumpkin, and radish. Now, let's continue with number 2, which is the ways of cooking or preparation. Now, determine the vegetable intended purpose. Which one? Is it salad, soup, sandwich, etc.? And then consider how they are cooked. either steaming, boiling, blanching, stir frying, or griddling. Now, the third is the storage. Storing fresh fruits and vegetables properly is very important. Why? Safe storage can save you from getting sick from foodborne illnesses. Most vegetables like carrot, potato, broccoli, and cabbage should be stored in a plastic container or in a crisper in your fridge. Mushroom must be stored in paper bag. Now, right storage in the fridge will prevent them from ripening too fast. Now, let's go with the fourth, which is the budget. Okay? Fresh price. Fresh vegetables can sometimes be costly. However, choosing to buy fresh vegetable and fruits in season can save money. When fresh produce is in season, it's generally cheaper because they have lots of supply. Now, in general, select vegetables that are within the budget. Now, let's go with the fifth one. Color in vegetables totally matters. Aside from being very attractive, veggies and their eye-catching use also promotes good health. In fact, most vibrant colored vegetables are the richest in vitamins, minerals, fibers, and antioxidants. Now, I strongly suggest to pick vegetables that are brightly colored and not bruised. Now, next is firmness. Firmness is an important factor in many fruits and vegetables. For example, tomatoes and okra. Okra are often harvested at given firmness and maturity. Tomatoes are harvested not too ripe, while okra determined by pinching the end of its tip. Now, in addition, fresh vegetable should not be weathered. And the last factor is the nutritional value. Vegetables are important for human health. Why? Because of their vitamins, minerals, phytochemical compounds, and dietary fiber contents. Now, these nutrients that we harness from eating vegetable can make us healthy and free from sickness or illnesses. Furthermore, the benefits of certain veggies should also be considered with regards to the person eating the prepared food. Now that we are done with the factors in selecting vegetables for culinary arts, now we will now move to the last learning outcome this morning, which are the ways of cooking vegetables. Now, what are the different ways of cooking vegetables? Now, they are boiling, steaming, sautéing, pan frying, braising, baking, deep frying, broiling, and grilling. Now, let's start talking about boiling. Boiling is the cooking of food by immersion in water that has been heated to near its boiling point. Boiling is fast and easy to control. The secret is to use as little water as possible and avoid overcooking, so all vitamins and flavor are retained. Now, here is a video presentation on how boiling of vegetable is done. Steps in boiling vegetables. Trim, peel, and cut vegetables as required. Add required amount of water to the pot. Add salt and bring to a boil. Place the vegetable to the pot and return water to boil. Reduce the heat to simmer and cook vegetable to required doneness. Green veggies and strong vegetables are cooked and covered. Drain the vegetable quickly to avoid overcooking. Now there you have it. You have your boiled corn. Now let's move to the next, which is steaming. Steaming is a method of cooking that requires moist heat. The heat is created by the boiling water, which vaporizes into steam. Unlike boiling, the food is separated from water and only comes into direct contact with the steam. Now, here is a video presentation on how steaming of vegetable is done. Steps in steaming vegetables. Trim and cut vegetables as required. Preheat the steamer. Arrange the vegetable in the pan for cooking. Steam for required time. Remove the vegetable from the steamer. And again, there you have it. You have your steamed vegetable. Now, let's move to the next, which is sautéing. Sautéing is a dry heat cooking method used to cook vegetable in hot pan and small amount of fat to cook food quickly. The vegetables are tossed or flipped in a pan over high heat. Now, it is also an ideal way to sear or brown food before performing other methods of cooking. Now, here is a video presentation on how sautéing of vegetable is done. Steps in sautéing vegetables. Prepare vegetable as required. Then place sauté pan on high heat. Then when pot is hot, add small amount of clarified butter or oil. Then add vegetable. Do not overload the pan or the temperature will be lowered too much and the vegetable will simmer instead of sauté. After the heat has recovered, flip the pan or toss the vegetable. Now continue the flipping as necessary. As soon as the vegetables are cooked, remove from the pan and serve. Now there you have it, your sautéed bitter gourd or ampalaya. Now next in the list is pan frying. Pan frying is a form of frying food characterized by the use of minimal cooking oil or fat. Typically, just enough to lubricate the pan. It is also a fundamental cooking technique that is easy to master and yields absolute results. Who could resist a crispy, crunchy cutlet with tender, juicy center? Now, it is also less messy than deep frying. Now, here is a video presentation on how pan frying of vegetable is done. Steps in pan frying vegetables. Prepare mise en place. Use a griddle. Only small amount of fat is required in it. Now heat the pan and add fat and let it heat once again. Place prepared vegetable in the pan. Cook to desired degree of browning. Turn vegetable with spatula and continue to cook until done. Spatula or tong may be used. Number 5, remove from the pan and drain on absorbent paper to eliminate excess fat. Now there you have it. You have your pan-fried eggplant. This time, we will move to braising. Now braising is a slow, moist heat cooking method which calls for small amount of liquid, low heat, and covered fat. Now, this cooking method involves browning of meat or vegetable in oil when cooking in small amount of liquid in a covered pan. Now, next in the list is baking. Baking is a method of cooking food that uses dry heat, typically in an oven, but it can also be done in hot ashes or on hot stone, or probably the oldest cooking method. Now, here is a video presentation on how baking of vegetable is done. Steps in baking vegetables. Collect all equipments and food products, then prepare vegetable as required. As in our case, what we are preparing is potato. Now place in appropriate pan and set in preheated oven. Season it with salt and pepper. And then you have your butter, melted butter. Then bake to desired doneness. Now there you have it. You have your baked potato. Another is deep frying. Deep frying is a dry heat method or dry heat cooking method wherein the vegetables are completely submerged in oil. Deep fried vegetable may be divided in 5 categories. 1, vegetable dipped in batter and fried. 2, vegetable breaded and fried. 3, vegetable fried without coating, example potato. And number 4, fritters or small vegetables or cut mix with a butter. The number 5, you have your croquettes. Consists of thick vegetable puree or mixture of small pieces of vegetable which are formed into shape, then breaded, and then deep fried. Now take a look on a video presentation showing how deep pat frying is done. Now collect all equipments, then preheat the fryer. Prepare food items as required. Now apply breading or butter if necessary. Then place proper amount of food in the fryer. Do not overload it. Fry to desired doneness. Then remove it in the pan. Of course, do not forget to drain excess fat. Now there you have it. You have your deep fried kangkong and potato chips. Now, best served with hot and with dressing. And the last in the list is grilling. Grilling involves cooking food on a rack over a heat source, usually charcoal, fire, or ceramic briquettes, heated by gas flames. Now, most of us were already experienced how to grill either meat, fish, or veggies. And so, that sums up our lesson for today. Now, if you have questions and clarification regarding the lesson, now feel free to ask your cookery teacher. They are very much willing, okay, to entertain it. Now this time, let's have an activity, and this is entitled crossword puzzle. Now the mechanics of the puzzle is this. Now, the game's goal is to fill the white squares with letters forming words or phrases by solving clues, which leads to the answer. Now, in languages that are written from left to right, and the answer from, okay, from top to bottom. Now, your comment box, use your comment box in answering the crossword puzzle. And you're going to do this for just 10 seconds. Okay? Now, I'm going to read it first. Then, after I read it, your 10 seconds will start. Okay? So, for downward, we have number 1, process of making something ready. What is that? Number 4, a space where vegetables are kept. What do you think is that? Number 6, a specific time of the year. Do you know what is that? Now, let's go with upward. Number 2, veggies and their eye-catching use. What do you think is that? Number 3, upward, benefits of certain veggies. And number 5, vegetables can be costly or cheap. Once again, use your comment box in answering the crossword puzzle, and you will do it for 10 seconds. Use the comment box in answering the crossword puzzle. You will do it in 10 seconds. Your time starts now. Time's up. Here are the answers. Number 1, preparation. Number 2, color. Number 3, nutritional value. Number 4, storage. Number 5, budget. And number 6, season. Now, let's continue with another game which is entitled correctly. Okay? Directions. Write true if the statement is correct and false if it is incorrect. Now, once again, you will be given 10 seconds to answer all of the questions after I read it. You can answer on your chat box below, or if you do not, or in your answering notebook. Number 1, canning makes cooking with vegetable easier and more convenient. Is it true or false? Number 2, frozen vegetables can be cooked directly into steamer or by boiling in salted water. Is it true or false? Number 3, fresh vegetables include all produce that are newly harvested and they have not been processed. Which do you think is the answer? Is it true or false? Number 4, dried fruits and veggies are high in fiber and carbohydrates and low in fat, making them a healthy choice. And lastly, most frozen vegetables are heavily salted during processing. Which do you think is the right answer? Is it true or false? Now let's answer. Number 1. Number 1, the answer is true. Number 2, the answer is false. It should be unsalted. Number 3, the answer is true. 4, the answer is true. And your number 5 is false. It should be slightly. Now, that sums up our lesson for today. Now, for me to determine how far you've got, now you are going to explain what you learned today by completing the following. I know, I will apply, and I will share. Now, an example is given for you. I know the importance of different market forms of vegetable. I will apply the different ways of cooking vegetables in our daily living, also considering the nutritive value we can get in every cuisine. And I will share my knowledge in cooking in those that are in need, most especially the younger ones. Now, let's see how much you've learned from today's lesson by answering the following question, okay, in our assessment. Directions. Read and analyze the questions. Then write the letter of the correct answer in your activity notebook, assessment notebook, or in your comment box below. Okay, if everybody is ready, then let's begin. Number 1, it is a dry heat method of cooking food that uses small amount of oil or fat in a shallow pan over relative high heat. Is it A, baking? Is it B, braising? C, sautéing? Or is it letter D, steaming? Okay, your 5 seconds starts now. If you answered letter C, then put a check on your paper because you are correct. Okay, let's go with number 2. It refers to the method of cooking that requires moist heat. The heat is created by boiling water which vaporizes into steam. Choices are the following. Letter A, baking. B, braising. C, sautéing. Or is it letter D, steaming? What do you think is the right answer? Your 5 seconds starts now. If you answered letter D, then put a check on your paper because you are correct. You give yourself a big round of applause. Let's go with number 3. Some vegetables may be pre-cooked by simmering or steaming briefly before deep frying to black. Here are the following choices. Letter A, bring out flavors of vegetables. B, reduce the cooking time in frying. C, improve texture of the vegetable. Or is it letter D, prevent vegetables from overcooking? Which do you think is the right answer for this one? Your 5 seconds starts now. If you answered letter B, then put a check on your paper because you are correct. Again, you give yourself a big round of applause. Let's go with number 4. This dry heat method of cooking submerges the food completely in a hot oil to have a crunchy golden brown surface and tender exterior. Which do you think is the right answer? Is it A, braising, B, boiling and steaming, C, deep frying, or is it letter D, sautéing and pan frying? Again, your 5 seconds starts now. If you answered letter C, again, put a check on your paper because you are correct. Now, let's go to the last number. Your friend always complains about being served with overcooked boiled vegetables at home. What should she do to prevent this? Choices are the following. A, she should boil the water before adding the vegetables. B, she should sauté the vegetable before boiling or simmering. Or is it letter C, she should use low heat temperature when boiling and simmering vegetable? Or is it letter D, she should drain the vegetables as soon as they are cooked and then cooled quickly under cold water? Which do you think is the right answer to this one? Your 5 seconds starts now. Now, if you answered letter D, once again, put a check on your paper because you are correct. Okay? Count the number of correct items over 5. If you got 5 over 5, then you are great. You are great. Very good. Keep up your good work. Now, this time, for your assignment, design a vegetable menu. Imagine that you are in charge of planning the menu for COVID patients. You want to plan nutritious vegetable dishes. Now, create a clear, descriptive menu that includes vegetables. What vegetables would you choose? What cooking methods would you employ? And Why? Now again, it will be checked following the rubric for scoring. Now that ends our lesson this morning. Again, happy morning and have a great day ahead. See you next time. Keep safe.